Welcome to our newscast. It's 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 2nd here in Seoul. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Hwang Ji-hye. We begin at the nation's top office. President Park Geun-hye is back at work after a week-long vacation. And speaking at a cabinet meeting this morning, the president laid out her thoughts on a range of current issues, including ways to boost the economy and the THAAD deployment. Song Ji-sun has the details.
The president marked her return from her holiday by encouraging Koreans to vacation in the country just as she did last week. President Park noted that the Korean economy is showing signs of recovery, growing 3.2% in the second quarter from last year, close to its potential growth rate. Putting emphasis on her drives to revive the economy and boost domestic demand, the president called on lawmakers to move forward with the government's fiscal stimulus proposal, saying a delay will not create jobs in a timely manner when a massive number of layoffs is in the forecast following the government's corporate restructuring drive.
이번 추경 예산이 통과가 되면 6만 8천 개의 일자리를 창출할 수가 있는데 추경 처리가 늦어져서 효과가 바로 나타나지 않는다면 실직 위험에 직면한 근로자들의 불안이 커질 수밖에 없습니다.
President also voiced her support for the anti-graft law ruled constitutional last week. But with growing concern that the act could have the effect of shrinking domestic demand, she asked her cabinet to create follow-up measures to cushion the impact. The new law limits the value of gifts that politicians, journalists, teachers, and their spouses can receive, with meals capped at $27 each.
법 시행에 따라 우리 사회의 투명성과 공정성이 제고되면 우리 경제의 효율성이 높아지고 성장 잠재력도 개선될 수 있는 만큼 이러한 긍정적 효과가 하루속히 극대화될 수 있도록 정부는 물론 기업, 교육계, 언론계 모두가 함께 노력해야 하겠습니다.
President Park also touched on the chosen location for the missile defense system THAAD. She stressed that Seoul and Washington's decision to deploy THAAD in Seongju, Gyeongsang-buk-do province, is aimed at protecting the public against North Korea's rising nuclear and missile threats, and called for national unity on security issues. President Park vowed to sit down with Seongju governor and local lawmakers to hear their opinions on the matter, while also pledging to continue her field visits to assess how well her policies are working to boost local economies. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
Korea has condemned Japan after Tokyo renewed its claim to the Korea-controlled Dokdo islets in its annual defense white paper. Both the defense and foreign ministries were quick to issue statements reasserting that Dokdo is Korean territory. Hyun-bin reports.
Korea's defense ministry has urged Japan to withdraw all of its false territorial claims to the Korea-controlled Dokdo islets, after Tokyo again renewed its claim to the rocky islets in its annual defense white paper on Tuesday. This is the 12th consecutive year Tokyo has made a claim in the document.
We strongly protest Japan's false claim to Dokdo in their defense white paper and urge Tokyo to correct it. If Japan continues to claim Dokdo, we'll certainly counter the action and move to secure our sovereign territory.
The ministry also summoned a defense attaché from the Japanese embassy in Seoul and submitted a formal protest against the document.
Korea's foreign ministry also released a statement in which it said that Dokdo is Korean territory and expressed a strong protest against Tokyo's, quote, unjust claims. The ministry urged Japan to look at historical facts and actively contribute to improving Korea-Japan ties based on mutual trust. Dokdo lies in closer proximity to Korea than Japan in the East Sea between the two countries and has long been a source of tension between the two neighbors. Experts believe Tokyo's renewed claim is likely to have an adverse effect on relations between Korea and Japan. Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
Korea's Environment Ministry has confirmed it's suspending sales of scores of Volkswagen and Audi models sold in the country. The models in question were caught up in an escalating scandal involving false claims over emissions, fuel efficiency, and noise levels. Our Lee Ji-won has more.
The Environment Ministry on Tuesday nullified the certifications of 80 vehicles imported to the country by Audi Volkswagen Korea.
The Ministry of Environment revokes the certifications for 80 submodels of 32 models.
The cars can't be sold without the certifications, and the decision affects 83,000 cars in Korea that have already been sold, while sales of 11,000 cars will be banned. This comes after the ministry held a hearing last week, where officials representing the automaker explained Volkswagen's position on the government's push to suspend sales. Although the German auto giant voluntarily suspended sales prior to that hearing, it denied any manipulation of emissions levels but acknowledged making errors on test documents. But after the hearing and review, the ministry confirmed the sales suspension for 80 models and fined Audi Volkswagen Korea $16 million. It also plans to recall an unspecified number of vehicles to be announced at a later date. The government had already been moving to enforce a sales ban on the vehicles in question, including the Golf, Jetta TDI, Audi A6, and other diesel and gasoline models, saying test documents for emissions and noise levels were forged in order to get the certifications. After a final review, the ministry took out 2 overlapping models and added 3, the Audi A3, A8, and A8L. Audi Volkswagen Korea is already seeing its sales plunge in Korea, and it can't register new cars for sale, which will have an even bigger impact. 이지원, 아리랑 뉴스.
And that brings us to the end of our newscast. We'll be back throughout the day with more updates, so stay tuned and goodbye for now.